So sometimes people can mean well, obviously. People always try to hopefully do the right thing, but sometimes we get it wrong. And I know people kind of it's easy to get things wrong sometimes. So trying to accommodate for disability. So do you have any memorable stories about anyone who's kind of had the right intentions but not necessarily got it right or hit the mark?
And I think this kind of led me to realise, again, it's very much I was well intentioned, but so yeah, in the legal sector, it tends to be based around Chancery Lane in London, and Chancery Lane tube station, like lots of tube stations, is inaccessible to anyone. You can't just use not a set of stairs really. So I was walking past and I saw someone with a wheelchair. It was a lightweight wheelchair, and they were pulling themselves up the stairs whilst pulling their wheelchair behind them, and I just took his wheelchair off him. I was trying to be helpful, but I took his wheelchair off him, and he got really angry with me and said, you should have asked. I was coping, and it really took me back, and I apologised, but I didn't. I knew I was in the wrong. I should have asked, and I think it motivated me to learn more, because my background interest in disabilities at work comes from varied experiences as a carer and supporter in my immediate family, for those who, for different forms of disability. But I still haven't really thought about it in terms of, because I don't know anyone who's a wheelchair user, and also because I'm the older sister, I guess I just imposed my version of helpfulness on other people in the past. So yeah, that kind of thing, I think in a way led me to reflecting that I needed to be actively inclusive. I don't just barge in and try and be helpful. I need to ask questions. So yeah, I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I've told it a lot of times, and I realise it's motivated me partly to do what I do now with disability and to be a better ally.
Yeah. Yeah, Chris?
Yeah, so in my case, so my son has a learning disability, which means he's got quite limited speech. So he uses Makaton signing as one of his main means of communication. And although he hears perfectly well and he understands what we say to him, we sign to him as a way of encouraging him to sign. So we've had several times people seeing us signing to each other and assuming that he's deaf, which he isn't at all. But I mean, that's naturally what you think of someone's using sign language. But I mean, people have always been, when we explain why we're signing, then that's fine. It's, they completely get it. But it's just sort of the automatic assumption is, oh, you must be deaf then, because. But I mean, I think as long as people are well intentioned, I don't think we'd ever be offended by that.
Yeah.
We talked about that I say we, but we organised a webinar where two members of the Disabled Solicitors Network discussed that. Discussed kind of, people with good intentions may cause offence, but as long as you learn from it, and you continue to do whatever it is that upset someone or just wasn't well received in the first place. But as I say, Chris recommended the programme on BBC to me and to others called There She Goes. And that's got lots of examples of that in that, where there's misunderstandings, very, very silly misunderstandings. But yeah.